Hello, my name is Professor Brett Davies. I'm a barrister and solicitor. You have a family trust. Sometimes it's called a discretionary trust. Sometimes it's called a family discretionary trust. Sometimes those words are never even used. It's just called the Bruce Rogers Trust. They're all the same document. Now, mum and dads and accountants, real people, call them family trusts, where us lawyers, us tax and superannuation and trust lawyers, often call them discretionary trusts. The reason I like calling my family trust a discretionary trust is because I get excited that I can make distributions every year to different beneficiaries. So most family trusts created in Australia have between 50,000 to maybe 500,000 general beneficiaries. Oh, that can't be true. 500,000? I don't have that many children and relatives. That's because the trust is discretionary. Now, under most trusts, if you have an interest in a share, let's say you have some shares in BHP or Rio Tinto or Commonwealth Bank, then all the shareholders of that bank, so there's 200,000 of them, are also beneficiaries of your family trust. But don't worry, it's discretionary, and therefore any beneficiary, even your ex-spouse, your children's ex-spouses, they've got no rights to reach up to the trustee and say, "Please, sir, may I have some more?" Not even an Oliver Twist right to do that. So in that case, you would make as many people as possible your beneficiaries. Many years ago, I was instructed by a wise Melbourne accountant, and he said, "Brett, staple the Melbourne white pages to your trust deed and get it off to the ATO for a private ruling, so every single person named in the white pages will be beneficiaries of my trust, because then I can make distributions to more people, like employees or things like that." And I thought it was a great idea, and I stapled the white pages and sent it off to the commissioner, the Australian Taxation Office. Unfortunately, they said that the objects of the trust, the beneficiaries of the trust, were not certain enough, because you don't get the full names and what have you, so we didn't win on that. But it was an exciting idea. And if you're allowed to, if the Australian taxation thought it was the objects were certain, then you would make it in your trust every single person ever born for hundreds of thousands of years, and every single person ever to be born, and every single person currently living. You'd make them all beneficiaries if you could. But unfortunately, the objects are not certain, that you can't name each of those beneficiaries. You can say, all my children, and all my children's children, and all my children's children's children, and their spouses, and their brothers and sisters, and their in-laws. You can do that, provided the class is certain. And that's the reason I, as a tax lawyer, call them discretionary trusts. Accountants and real people call them family trusts, because there's another bias in these documents, and that is they're really good for mum and dads, but they're not good for two families, because the appointer clauses, the appointer is the one that really controls everything. The people that are the appointers control everything often, and it should be unanimously. So mum and dad acting together, act unanimously and make distributions to this person, this person, this person. Next year they make distributions to a different group of people, whoever's the lowest marginal tax beneficiaries for that financial year. But when mum and dad die, then you've got everything, the appointers being the three children. And each child have their own spouses, wives and children, but they're in business together, acting unanimously. And it doesn't quite work that way. If you are in business with your children or with other business partners, then there are better structures such as unit trusts, companies, hybrid trusts and things like that. So accountants call them family trusts because it's just really for mum and dad. I call them discretionary trusts because I love the idea every year you can change who the beneficiaries are. Now, we're a law firm, and therefore you can telephone us any time for legal advice as you build the document. We can even give you advice on how to answer the questions. Enjoy that advantage in dealing directly with a law firm.